Hello, everyone. Thank you for making it to the end of the final presentation here of the second day of the peer conference, and appreciate your attention. Like Christine mentioned, I'm the head of the product management team for Digital Commons. For those who might not be aware, Digital Commons is Elsevier's flagship institutional repository solution. And since this is the peer conference, which is about CRIS and RIMS systems, and I'm managing the institutional repository offering, today I'm talking about the intersection of these two. Now, anytime you have the word future in the title of your presentation, you might expect that I might be showing futuristic images, or that I might be talking about utopian dreams, or that I might be sharing some ethereal new concept that's vague and abstract, or that I might have a bold acronym to introduce into the ecosystem that we tread in. And so you could expect, since I'm talking about CRIS systems and IRs, maybe I'm introducing the new wave of the future, the CRIS IR, the CRISer, however we might want to pronounce it. But I'm not going to do any of those things, actually. What I am going to do is talk about the future, the way Elsevier builds products, which is we want our customers to have the things that they want. And I think this quote from the Welsh fashion designer, Laura Ashley, sums it up really nicely. So what do our customers who have both a CRIS system like Pure and an institutional repository system like Digital Commons, what do they want? Well, we ask them. So what I'm doing today is sharing with you a snapshot of the results from a survey that we conducted to our joint customers that have both of these solutions. There are about a couple dozen respondents who were institutional repository managers, CRIS and RIMS systems managers, their managers and stakeholders as well, from about a dozen different institutions. And what we hoped from the survey was to sort of triangulate on answering this question of what these institutions want, based on the original purpose for why they had both of these systems, the value, the unique differentiated value that they were seeing from each, as well as the opportunities that they saw with both, based on the pains or the frustrations or challenges that they were having with either or both. So let me tell you about what we found so far from that survey. And let me start first with the Pure system. What do our joint customers say about why they have their CRIS system, their Pure system? I think there's no surprises here. There are two main jobs that they're looking to have accomplished with the CRIS system: the reporting, the tracking, and the capability to understand everything that's occurring across the research enterprise of the institution. And then secondly, that showcasing of the faculty and the research to the public to increase those opportunities for matchmaking or collaboration through the portals. When we asked what was the distinguished value that Pure offered to you, this is where what we found was reflective of exactly those reasons for why those institutions got the CRIS system in the first place. So the reporting was highlighted as the most robust capability, easily done and administered in most instances. The capability for Pure to aggregate and integrate all the different data sets across their IT landscape was really powerful. And then the representation of the researchers for them to be discoverable, also highlighted and called out by these respondents. So this last slide, as well as this slide together, really tell this story of a valuable standalone solution for these customers. Now, what about the challenges? There were a number that were mentioned, but the two on the left here are the ones that really bubbled up the most, in particular this one on the far left. One of the challenges is that if an institution is a comprehensive university, they want to have all departments fully engaged in the system. That's a challenge. There might be variability in the extent to which those departments or those schools or those colleges might be able to get their faculty to be engaged. There might also be challenges in terms of the coverage of content that is brought into the system at scale. So if there's a discipline that Scopus doesn't have as great coverage of, or that the harvesting source doesn't have as great coverage of, that means that there might be various reasons for gaps to be in the peer system. And so capturing and really rounding out those profiles for the most comprehensive and accurate reporting possible was the biggest challenge highlighted. Now, what about digital commons, if we ask the same questions? And let me do a quick snapshot to tell you what digital commons is. I said it's an institutional repository. We've optimized digital commons to really focus on being not just the dark archive repository. This is the place where we're driving reputation and visibility by highlighting faculty publications, by showcasing all types of content that might be produced on a campus, and elevating even diamond open access journals that might be published by the institution as well. So you can see this example from Seattle University, the different tiles that represent all those different types of content that they have, or Design Research Society, which has a unique focus on proceedings for events that they hold and the way they want to represent their reputation through the repository. And then Digital Commons has a really robust analytics capability that we're proud of. So with all of the objects and files that are in the repository, tracking all the downloads across the countries that they come from, and even indicating where those readers are in terms of their affiliations is one of the powerful aspects that really show the impact of that visibility and showcasing. And this aligns with what our customers who have both of these solutions say they get out of the tool. The reason they got it in the first place is for that first job that you see here. We have an IR2 showcase, distribute, disseminate, promote. There were so many different synonyms that they used, but they all sort of capture this main idea around the publication, the externalization, that showcasing. Of course, there was the traditional repository job of collecting and archiving that they also mentioned. But the other thing I want to call out here is the diversity of content that they represent from all the different stakeholders on that far right column. And this is mirrored again in also what they said what was really valuable about the solution. Users of Digital Commons call out its discoverability, that analytic capability to show the impact, and again, what we call the scholarly communications content breadth, the ability to host videos, multimedia, images, books, all various types of content. And then we provide unlimited storage, so that capability really enables and unlocks and removes any barriers to having that enabled. The biggest challenge though, and there were a few, you can see them, but the biggest one by far that was repeated was the far left one, this lack of interoperability. So Digital Commons has not been traditionally strong in being integrated with other systems, and so that creates gaps and challenges in terms of the representation of content outward as well. So it struck us as well as the respondents that between the two systems, actually the challenge for one could be solved with the capability of the other. That lack of interoperability I just mentioned also, and our respondents told us that Pure aggregates and integrates data really well. So could we create an integration to meet their need where content that has been aggregated by Pure can be fed to give comprehensive representation in the IR and have all of that metadata transferred? That was clearly something that they want. And DC has the capability to provide a full spectrum of work submitted from various departments. And so an integration in the other direction, adding content that's in the repository and feeding that to Pure would address that problem for Pure. And this was, supported and endorsed by all of the respondents, as you can see here, with high endorsement for both of the integrations in both of those directions, those two rating scores on the right. They also told us how they want the integration done. So seamless, automated, but also controlled and managed. So in summary, what do they want? We started with that question. They have their Pure system. They have their Digital Commons system. An integration of Pure over to DC for seamless metadata and comprehensive reporting of metadata so that maximized showcasing is occurring through the IR. Another integration to fill the gaps in Pure where content has been loaded that might not be covered from a Scopus or Web of Science standpoint. And all of that done in a streamlined and controlled way. we're building these integrations now. Both teams have the infrastructure in place. And so for these joint customers, we invite them to continue to engage with us towards the end of this year and into next year as we seek to now develop and put these integrations in place. And with that, thank you, Christine, for the extra seconds.
Thanks, Shandon. That was actually really, really interesting. I'm really interested to see how things will progress in that space. But unfortunately, that is all the time that we've got time for. Thanks again so much for sharing your insights on how things will evolve. It's a really interesting space. Thank you so much. It's time for us to wrap up for the day now. Certainly many varied ways in which Pure and the portals can support research institutions in managing records and showcasing. Thanks to all the presenters for informative and thought-provoking presentations today. Thanks to the audience for the questions and the technical team for their support. Please check out the forum, and let's close here for today and join again tomorrow for the final day of the conference. Goodbye, everybody.